Romance. Push the On Button by Paul Gaughan. Narrated by Joe Phoenix. Chapter 1. Romance and the Caveman. "What is it with you and the caveman thing?" she asked. "And why, oh why, do I like it so much?" Jill Shalvis, The Sweetest Thing. How romantic was the ancient caveman? Well, if you believe many people's imagination of what it was like, you would probably come up with an image of a caveman, club in a hand, dragging his woman by the hair behind him, and that was about as romantic as it got. Whatever your prehistoric images, it does help to understand some of the basic concepts of primitive society to comprehend where we are today. So what are some of the things we are sure about the past that have ingrained themselves in our DNA even to the present day? One thing is certain, and that is that historically, man was the hunter. Caveman characteristic 1. Man the hunter. Dominant sense, sight. It was the man's traditional role to track and hunt game for the table, provide shelter, and ward off any threat to his family. In other words, man was to provide for the physical needs, the basics, the most important things if he was to survive. The priorities were to kill the wild beast, remove any threat, including any other man that wanted to steal his woman away from him, and be totally self-reliant. This incredibly physical world required one important thing from a man: testosterone, and lots of it. Of his 5 senses, his primary sense was sight. This was used to track and trap animals, make weapons and tools, and find water, food, and shelter. When he was confronted with a challenge or stressful situation, his testosterone, adrenaline, and muscles always provided an answer. He could fight or run. Most of all, he felt needed. He felt in charge. Corresponding trait today's woman wants. Confidence is one of the single most traits that attracts women today. Sure, it comes in various forms, but whether it be bad boy, the show-off, or at times the little bit cocky adventurer, all these different types are an evolution from the hunter-caveman. A man who overflows with confidence, knows where he is going, is a natural leader rather than a follower, and knows how to take charge can be attractive qualities in a man that grabs the attention of women. If a man knows what he is about and clearly possesses confidence, then a woman has a lower risk of facing an uncertain future with such a man. That is why he can be so alluring to her. So what has changed after so many years? Has the basic makeup of a man changed, or just the environment in which he now finds himself? Well, adrenaline still cuts in under stress to ready a man for a fight or flight response. Testosterone still seems to ooze from a man's pores, and he has lost none of his competitive nature or abilities to deal with physical changes. But his environment has changed radically, and man's traditional role has become extinct. Man is no longer needed to provide the basic necessities of life. There is no threatening beast to kill, no game to hunt, and no cave to claim. The main challenges now are balancing the budget, paying the mortgage, and endless bills, perhaps getting reports in on time at work, and being a sensitive new age guy, all from behind a desk rather than out of the jungle. What good is testosterone for these modern-day challenges? The answer is that it is not much good at all. In fact, it can be a downright disadvantage at times. In addition, a man knows deep down that he is no longer needed or totally dependent on, as his woman is now capable of earning her own living, if she wants to, and quite often does. Man's role in reproduction is also now no longer essential, with IVF therapy and the brave new world of cloning also presenting further possibilities of man's redundancy. Has man himself become a dinosaur? Even some governments seek to undermine a man's traditional role by making sure that if a man loses his job, the government will step in with unemployment payments to take care of the base.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?